Hey guys, what's going on? Tua Cruz here, and today is a very exciting video for me. It's new bike day, and this is also my first ever gravel bike, so very excited about today's video. This is the Poseidon X Ambition Drop Bar Edition, and this is a fairly new brand to me. I just learned about them thanks to some of you guys commenting in my recent videos saying I was coming back to my hometown here in Southeast Michigan and wanted to do some gravel dirt rides here. So thank you to you guys for suggesting this to me. Poseidon is pretty famous recently actually for making more budget-friendly bikes, specifically gravel bikes. And this model, the X Ambition, actually retails for $899, which is pretty crazy to think that you can get a bike like this for less than $900. And I also heard it goes on sale sometimes as well. So we're going to be doing a full bike check in this video, going over everything that you get at this price. And this is an aluminum gravel bike, carbon fork, and weighs about 25 pounds. So yeah, I mean, if you want to get a 25-pound mountain bike, you're going to be spending almost double that price. So pretty excited to test this out and also test it out on the trails to see how it handles. I'm sure this performs like a champ on the gravel roads. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the bike check and show you guys everything that's on here. But before we begin, I want to mention that I actually really love this paint job. I think they have a couple different paint options available, but the chrome on black just looks really nice and I'm really liking the vibe on this bike. And again, this is an aluminum frame. And on their website, they mentioned that they actually have a lifetime warranty on the frame, so that's pretty cool to hear. The company is based out of Southern California. It's a pretty smaller team, I hear, and they're actually direct to consumer, so you can order this online and they'll ship it directly to you. So you do need to assemble it, and it's a little less assembled compared to other builds that I've done. For example, they keep the rotors off of the wheel, so you gotta attach those. That's so it doesn't get bent. And it also came with both wheels off the bike, so it's a very easy build if you have some basic mechanic skills, but if you don't, you'll have to take it probably to your local mechanic to get it built up. So some other key features on this bike, we're gonna have some mechanical disc brakes on here, which actually I really like because they're easy to adjust. If you're ever doing some longer cycling trips, just really easy to make adjustments on the fly, unlike hydraulic brakes. So I actually really like mechanical brakes for this kind of bike. And everything on this bike is going to be stock. The only additions I've added on here so far is some pedals and my computer mount. And now it seems that almost all gravel bikes and cyclocross bikes and mountain bikes just come with a 1x setup. So this is my first ever 1x setup bike. And this is actually a newer group set, my first time ever using it. This is a Microshift 1x10 speed. This will be my first time testing out this brand as well, the Microshift. I believe it's a cheaper alternative group set, and so we're going to test that out and see how it goes. And you can see we've just got a massive cassette on here. I believe it's an 1146 cassette or something like that. So here in Southeast Michigan, I very much doubt I'm going to need those larger climbing gears, but if I were to bring this bike back to Vietnam with me, I'm sure I could use some of those on some of the steeper climbs there. So here's a close-up of the rear derailleur. Everything on this bike is pretty new, but I did take it out for one quick test ride before I was able to film this video. I was just so excited I needed to go out and go for a ride before the day was over. So I'll have that video uploaded soon, actually, after this video, so you can check that out. And we've got a standard 700 wheel on here. And I also like the tires that they have on here. These are some Kenda, I believe they're called the Happy Medium model, but you can see they've got kind of like the small blocks on the center and the inside, and then some grippier stuff on the side. So these should be really fast for like regular dirt roads, and you still can get some grip in the corners when you're going through some trails. The other nice thing I really like about this bike is it includes a lot of different mount options. So if you want to put a rear rack on, you've got some mounts for that. And it also comes with 4 different mounts for bottle cages, which is pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever had that on a bike. So we've got one there, one here, and then also another one here on the bottom. Also looks like it's routing a few of the cables through the bottom part of the down tube there. So that should be easy to work with. The crank is a Prowheel crank, another brand that I'll be testing out for the first time. And just in case you're wondering my size, I'm 183 centimeters tall, so about 6 feet. I went with the large. We've also got a few other mounts here on the fork if you want to add some extra bags up there. And then next, let's take a look over here at the shifters. So these are the Microshift 10-speed shifters, and everything is controlled with these two levers. So you can push this bigger one here to go down to an easier gear, and then you can push this little one here to go into a harder gear. And it just took me a second to get used to it on my test ride, so pretty nice actually once you get riding. I actually kind of like this little button here for going to the harder gear. It just feels like a natural position for me. So right now I have a good impression of the Microshift shifters, and we'll be testing them out to test their durability over time here. And then this is how all the front cables are managed. We've got 3 different cables here, 2 for the brakes and then 1 for the shifter. So that one's actually sticking out here on the side. So that's kind of one of the prices you're gonna pay for the cheaper group set, is you're gonna have these cables sticking out in the front of the handlebar, but not really an issue for me. I don't mind that at all. And then in the front of the bike, we've got their logo for Poseidon bikes. And it looks like we've also got some extra mounts for fenders as well, which is something I might have to invest in. It actually was raining all day yesterday, so I was pretty bummed I wasn't able to ride this bike or film this video yesterday, but we got the sun out today, ready to go for another nice ride and do some more testing on some trails, hopefully if they're dried up. It also came with this cool little custom top cap here, which has their logo as well, the Poseidon. And this is the only other change I really did. I added my cycle computer mount here. And then the left side is just going to be the brake, so really simple setup over there. This is another reason I love the mechanical disc brakes, especially the way they have it set up here. They have some of these adjusters so you can adjust it while you're riding without having to get off your bike. The same thing with the shifter. They've got an adjustment here so you can adjust everything while you're riding. You don't have to get off your bike, which is really great for this kind of bike. And working our way over here to the saddle, I actually tested this out on the first ride. I did a 2-hour ride, felt perfectly fine on this. So really liking the stock saddle and also a standard seat post here. So it looks like most of the parts on this bike are upgradable, not using any proprietary parts or anything like that. Also looking at the brakes, we've got these Tektro mechanical brakes. For those who don't know, hydraulic brakes use like an oil in the cable. It's a completely closed system, but mechanical brakes use the brake cable, so it's completely adjustable. It does weigh a little bit more and it doesn't always perform as well as hydraulic brakes, but I think it performs well enough, and being able to make adjustments when you're going on like a longer ride is well worth it for this kind of bike, I think. The only real kind of downside that I noticed with this bike is it does come with quick release, and with the current industry standards all shifting over to through axle, that's kind of unfortunate, but they do have an option on their website where you can check out and upgrade to get a through axle setup. It does cost a few extra $100 and take a few extra days to process that order since they have to do that work, but you can make that upgrade if you want. But at this price range, I don't think there's really any through axle bikes for less than $1,000 on the market right now. So I personally don't have any problem with using the quick release on the bikes. All my old cyclocross bikes were quick release. All my old mountain bikes were quick release. The only problem is if you want all your bikes to be on the same standard, and for upgrades in the future, there might not be as many parts, but for me personally, I don't mind at all. And overall though, I'm really impressed that you can get all this bike for less than $900. First impressions, really good. I was really excited putting this bike together. I think it looks great. And I already did my first test ride on the bike. I'll be uploading that full video here after this video. And yeah, first impressions were really great. I've only ridden it on the dirt road so far, so I'm gonna be taking it on the trails soon. I wanna wait till they dry out because I don't wanna ride wet trails and get the bike too dirty on my first few rides. But yeah, really excited to test it out. Some other points I didn't mention earlier, these tires are 40 width, and I believe they fit up to 42, maybe more if you go down to 650 size wheels. But for me on the dirt roads, the 40s have been doing really good. We'll have to see how they do on the trails, and I'm gonna also have to experiment with a few of the different tire pressures. But on the ride, it was pretty crazy. I got a lot of compliments on the bike. Like a lot of people didn't know about the brand, and they're asking like how much it is, and I told them it's like a $900 bike, completely stock. And I'm riding with people on like really expensive high-end carbon bikes, and they just couldn't believe it. So far, very good first impression, and we'll be making some more updates on this bike in the future. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this first impressions video. Stay tuned for the first ride video coming up soon. And speaking of riding, it's such a beautiful day today. It rained all day yesterday, and I gotta go for another ride right now, so I'm gonna go take it out. I just bought a few accessories at the local bike shop. Got some bottle cages, a bottle. I did the first ride with a Gatorade in my back pocket because I didn't have time to buy anything yet, but yeah, very excited to go out. And it's interesting filming videos back here in the US right now, because when I filmed videos in Vietnam, I was always complaining about the noise and how it's like very loud there and very difficult to find a quiet place to film. And for the most part here, it's very quiet, but today is actually the weekend. It's Saturday, so a lot of people are cutting their lawns, and yeah, I'm using a pretty decent microphone, so I hope it doesn't pick up too much, but yeah, if it got a little noisy, that's why. It's Saturday and everyone's cutting their yards, but I'm gonna go for a bike ride. So thanks as always for watching, guys. Go check them out. I'll leave their website link down below if you're interested in checking out their bikes, and we'll see you next time here on To a Cruise.